From the Peterson Event Center on the campus of the great University of Pittsburgh inside Pitt Studios, welcome to the award-winning Pat Narduzzi Show. I'm Larry Richard with Panthers football head coach Pat Narduzzi. Congratulations. Your last outing seems like ages ago, Coach. However, it was high drama at Heinz Field and ended with a W in OT, 30-23 over North Carolina. What a thrilling victory for you and your team. Congratulations.
Thanks, Larry. It was a little bit more thrilling than we wanted it to be, I can tell you that. I think that's what championship teams do. They go out and win different ways, and it was a almost near perfect first half, and
right.
We didn't play as great a second half as I'd like to. As a coach, you're kind of going, wait a second. Tail two teams in first half, second half, but we found a way to get it done. And the nice thing about Larry is there was no doubt on the sideline. There was no like, oh, here we go. It was like, there was just no doubt. I think everybody on our sideline, we talk about, one of the steps to a championship is having faith and belief, and our guys had faith and belief the entire time. There was no hesitation. I didn't think they were going to score at the end of score a touchdown at the end of regulation, and I knew we'd score on offense, although I wanted to play defense first. But I thought regardless of the rain or not, there was no way they were going to score on our defense.
You got the choice on where to play it, and you played it right in the Panther pit. And you got to give those students credit because they stayed in that rain, and it got nasty at the end.
There's no question about it. I'll tell you another thing, and really it happened during the game, not just a little bit, a lot. Our defense coaches asked this week, hey, can we get some noise at practice? I was like, what? Like, we don't get noise. But because of the Panther pit, it was so loud, and we expected it to be loud this weekend. Our guys were like, hey, we need some noise just so we can communicate better. We had some miscommunication. There was time down there that, we were struggling and talking to each other real loud, trying to get it communicated. So we wanted to get some practice this week. So the Panther pit made us have to do something to practice that really we haven't had to do for 6 years. So my hat goes off to them.
And looking forward to that 12th man Saturday against the Virginia Cavaliers, 3:30 kickoff. We'll be on the air with our pregame at 1:30. Back to overtime, though. So you chose that end. You get the ball first, and your quarterback does what he's done with your offense all year long. Just commands an 11-yard touchdown to Lucas Kroll to get the first score. The extra point's good. Now you're feeling like, well, you can't lose. And your defense was just tremendous, and they had a 4-and-out ended in an interception.
They played that overtime period and really the end of that fourth quarter like they were playing for their lives, and they played it like they did the first half. It was they played lights out the entire day. That was a good offense. It was averaging over 500 yards a game. Sam Howell, preseason Heisman Trophy. It's not like you played some scrub out there. It was Sam Howell.
No, they're a really talented team, and they had put up a lot of points against Wake Forest the previous week, like 58. So
yeah.
That first half was nearly flawless. But, they're a good football team, got back in it, but you guys found a way to win. And that sets up some high drama. I know as a coach, it's one game at a time. However, this has big stakes. You win this game, you
Larry,
no,
slow down, Larry. It's one game. It's
all right.
One game. Okay. As I talked to them this morning, it's one game, and we're focused on just winning. That's our job, is to win football games. It's about winning games. That's what their job is to do. That's what our job as coaches are, to win football games. And all we want to do is win that game. We'll worry about everything else afterwards.
But there also is legitimate emotion and drama in the sense that you've got 23 seniors. 12 of those are your super seniors, so a very unique situation. But in practical terms, family, friends, fans, and for those guys, this will be the last time they step on Heinz Field as a Pitt Panther.
It really will. It'll be another emotional day, and each year it was emotional. I mean, it was emotional last year and every year prior to. This may be the biggest class we're sending out of here because of the super seniors, and it'll be a little bit longer pregame and introductions and all that, and we'll have a big Friday night with all the families at the hotel, at the Westin Hotel downtown, and it'll be special. But the game's going to be special too.
And our guest, your special guest coming up in our next segment, Jordan Addison, was named not only semifinalist for the Biletnikoff Award, he's a All-American candidate, and we'll talk to him about the special way he found out about it this week, which you kind of orchestrated. So looking forward to that. Right now, let's talk about your Players of the Week. Speaking of, people might not think, Jordan Addison, wait a minute, why is he the special teams Player of the Week?
Yeah, Jordan has been forced into action as a punt returner, and he was all along our best guy back there, but we just try to take it off his plate, give it to somebody else, and we knew he's special at everything he does whenever he touches the ball, but he has been special back there in the last two games. But he had 3 returns for a 15-yard average and 2 really explosives, which we really have maybe have had one the entire year, and he gets 2 against a really good special teams unit in North Carolina. So again, however we can get the ball in our hand, in his hands. I mean, I think he's the third guy who was back there. We're just trying to hold it off, but I guess the cat's out of the bag, and Jordan Addison will be returning punts this weekend too.
How about Defensive Player of the Week?
It's Kalijah Cansey, 4 tackles, a sack, and a big quarterback hit. I mean, he's been. We put him kind of in some special situations last weekend. Now that was really good for him. He was getting a lot of single blocks, and he's hard to block with one guy, whether it's a center blocking back and them trying to run some power or counters. He was active on the backside of some runs that he's a special football player.
And no surprise, your quarterback.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett, the Offensive Player of the Week. Again, he's got some great targets out there, but he threw for 346 yards, 3 TDs. The most important one that was the one at the end, and at the end of the fourth quarter struggled a little bit, but you know what, he bounced right back and made that play in overtime, and had a gutsy, I think a third down run, where he dove and got the first down, which was huge. He is, and continues to be, just a gamer.
Offensive lineman of the week, because Kenny and those guys can't do what they do unless the guys up front do their job.
Yeah, again, we did a pretty good job of protecting the quarterback last week. Not as good as we'd like it to be. We probably could have had a couple more touchdowns. Had he not got sacked on a couple of those plays, we had guys open and Kenny was ready to fire it and just didn't have time to get it there. But Owen Drexel was our guy. He had a 93% grade. He continues to just orchestrate everything up front, tries to put everybody in position. He can't block everybody himself, but he's making sure that we got a hat for a hat, in our pass protections in our run game.
And Owen Drexel is your center, that man up front, very key to the success of this offense. How about unsung heroes? Let's go to special teams.
Chase Pine was our guy. He had 13 plays on special teams, had a 100% grade, was really, really good. He had a tackle inside the 20-yard line, was a big-time hit. And we need to continue to get consistent at special teams and doing it all the time. And he's a guy that's really had a nice year for us there.
On defense,
that number 7, Servassier Dennis, continues to be active. I don't care where you put number 7, he'll be really good. And he's just a great blitzer. He just does the little things right. He's so smart. Again, he's one of our best blitzers. One blitz that we've always liked, but it just hasn't seemed to be as good the last couple of years. But when number 7 runs that blitz, it becomes really good.
And your offensive unsung hero.
But Lucas Kroll, 4 catches, 51 yards, a TD, 2 explosives. Obviously, the overtime touchdown that was, which was huge. I mean, that's what you play the game for, is to be that guy making that play in that situation. And he started off a little slow, had a drop, but again, a guy that just let it go and played the next play, which is what we preach, and really had a nice game.
Defensive Attack Force Player of the Week.
This guy has been playing really, really well. Phil Campbell, just explosive. He had a big hit on Sam Howell on a 4th down and 1. He lit him up. It was a great call by Bates. Got it, blitz going in the right direction, and Phil came up and really had 2 people trying to block him and just smacked Sam, and that was a major big stop early.
And by the way, it was your defense. It looked like Carolina had a chance to close out that game maybe with a touchdown late in regulation, and they were right there on the goal line and got knocked back and forced a field goal, which tied the game as opposed to them getting a TD.
Yeah, there was some talk on the headphones about, I think I might have mentioned this after the game about, hey, maybe we should just let them score
right,
so we can go down and score. And it was kind of like, as a defensive head coach, that's just not in your vocabulary. And it's like, I trust our defense, and we got to stop, forced a field goal, and the rest is history.
Good call by you. Now the Rocks players, for fans that don't know, these are the guys that set up whatever team you're playing. They're the scout team.
Yeah, and again, they're so important, as we say every week. And on special teams, Miles Canton, who has done a nice job and might have an opportunity this weekend on special teams against Virginia. But Miles Canton's a kid that transferred in from Duquesne and is just a team guy and does everything you asked him to do. On offense, it was Miles Austin, wide receiver from Virginia that hasn't gotten the game yet on offense, but he's going to be a really good player for us, we think, and he continues to get better. And then on defense, Javon McIntyre, kid from Philly, Imhotep High School that is going to be a really good football player. Hadn't got a chance with the depth in our secondary, but every week he gets a couple more reps on the defense, even off of the scout team, and he's gotten better every week.
Those are your Pitt Panther Players of the Week and their performance against North Carolina. When we come back, Coach's special guest, Jordan Addison, will join us. You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show and the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
Gonna take it all the way for the stop. What an atmosphere it is in this building.
Season tickets are now available.
Experience the power of e-bikes from Pro Bike and Run. Pittsburgh's hills are no match for e-bike power. Go farther, go faster. Pro Bike and Run has the largest selection of bikes in Pittsburgh. We have the bikes. Stop by a store near you.
University of Pittsburgh sophomore wide receiver Jordan Addison. 10, 11, 12 touchdowns overall, 11 receptions, which is tied for tops in the nation. He's been named a semifinalist for the Biletnikoff Award presented to the outstanding college football receiver regardless of position. And he is Coach Narduzzi's special guest. Welcome. You all fired up to be here. If Coach asked you to come here, this is a big deal.
Glad to be here.
So we talked about this week when Coach found out. He called your mom and wanted to know if she wanted to tell you about this or if he should tell you. But so when you called home, what Mom say?
So first she was trying to get us all on the group call with my brother, so I knew something was big was going on. And then she finally told me, and I was just so excited that how happy she was.
I would imagine that's part of the joy of what you do and playing at a high level is you share that with your family, and they all share in that as well.
That's exactly who I do it for.
So you have 6 brothers, 3 sisters. Where are you in the birth order?
Closer to the bottom.
Closer to the bottom. How close?
About second and youngest.
Okay.
So really close.
So you're one of the babies in the family. So they're looking at you. Oh, Jordan, man.
Yeah.
When you score a touchdown, that's got to be an unbelievable feeling for you.
It feels great, especially when I just see them all in the stands and I make eye contact with them all, and it's just a great feeling.
And you're producing at an All-American level. You have the most touchdown catches by a Pitt player since a guy named Larry Fitzgerald. You familiar with his work?
Yeah, I think I heard of him.
Yeah, he was a great and has been a great receiver in the NFL for forever. That's rarefied air that you're in. So as a sophomore, what was the difference from your freshman year as you moved just one season later? What did you learn from that experience?
I'll say what I learned was to see how all the defenses move pre-snap and after the snap.
And then in terms of the senior class, what have you learned from the seniors?
The most important thing that stuck with me was be early to everything. And when adversity hits, just never give up.
Coach, we've talked about Jordan as a sophomore. He's very businesslike, very even keel. You don't see that a lot.
You don't see it at all. I've told his mother several times, Keisha, hello out there. I know you're listening. But she did an unbelievable job raising this young man. I'm just telling you, this kid is special, not just as a football player. He's got great eyes. He runs well. When I say great eyes, he talks about seeing how the coverages move. People don't realize out there when they watch TV, he's not just running a post. I mean, it's not just one route. When he lines up, he's got to see what's happening, and he adjusts his routes on the run. I mean, that's kind of part of the game. It's not just like you're going to run that route and it's going to be covered. We've got a pretty elaborate NFL system as far as the way these receivers run the routes, and we're trying to get them open, and they've got to be good at running the right route versus the right coverage.
Jordan, you said playing quarterback in high school up until your sophomore year helped you also as a receiver because you understand the offense a lot better that way.
Playing quarterback, you don't just focus on one position. You have to know everything. So that makes it a lot easier for me. Now that I'm just playing one position, I still have that knowledge.
And you seem to have some kind of intuition with your quarterback, Kenny Pickett. It seems like every game there's that one play where you're streaking down the center of the field and Kenny just fires. I mean, you're averaging almost 18 yards a catch. That's incredible.
This is what we've been working for all season. Everything's right in front of us, so now we're just trying to go out there every Saturday and go get it.
4.3 speed, Coach.
4-3 all day.
What is that difference? Because that can make the biggest difference when you're trying to create separation, right, with the D-backs that are covering you.
Yeah, putting speed on the DBs, it makes them a little bit more nervous. So, cause I get up on them a little bit more faster, so it makes them have to react a little bit faster, and that's pretty hard to do.
Do you ever go a little slower and kind of lure them in and then hit that second gear?
I do that all the time.
I can see it's paying off for you. Now, here's the question. You just in the last few games have been called to duty to return punts, and that is a special skill. I think, Coach, you have to be the most confident football player on the field in that moment, because you're looking up, that ball's coming down, the opposing team's coming at you, they're trying to take your head off. I know you kind of held back from using Jordan, but he was pressed into service. You like that position, don't you?
I didn't realize how much I liked it until I got back on it.
And what about that? You're looking up there. How do you keep an eye on who's coming in? When do you decide you're going to wave for a fair catch?
You can see through out your peripheral, so
I can't imagine.
He can feel it. He can feel it.
You sense it, but you're enjoying this. I think your special teams coach is enjoying it too. Let's talk about Virginia. This is a big opportunity. The Cavaliers coming to Heinz Field. They hadn't played. You guys hadn't played last year because of the COVID schedule, so their last appearance was the opener in 2019, right, Coach?
No doubt. It was actually Coach Whipple's first game coaching here as an offense, so it was his first game as offense coordinator with that offense, and our offense looks a little bit different than it did back in 2019.
Yeah. And we'll get into details of that Bronco Mendenhall's Cavaliers with Pat Bostic here in just a few minutes. So how do you prepare for an individual team as a receiver? What are you looking at?
Really just looking at the DBs and their movements, what they do pre-snap, their hips, see if they're stiff or not, see their coverages, see who they like to match up it with in the slot, their outside guy, their boundary corner, their field corners.
You know you're going to get all the attention, right?
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I like the challenge every week.
Let me ask you about your tickets for kids. I know you're using this whole, name, image, likeness. They call it the NIL. And you've chosen to do something to bring kids to the football games. It's really nice. Tell us about tickets for kids.
Well, first I just wanted to give back to the kids, because I know when I was younger, looking up to the college athletes, I looked at them as superstars. So I just sit down with them, have lunch, and just try to make their day.
I saw a video with the young man who's coming Saturday, and you could see the sparkle in his eyes. And you're right. You get there to Heinz Field, you see that, and then the game atmosphere, that's pretty special.
Yeah, he was pumped up. We're just going to make sure we put on the show for him.
And I would imagine you'll have, since you're from Frederick, Maryland, that's not too far away, you're going to have a lot of family and friends in the stands.
Of course, we're going to bring the whole bus down.
How many people do you think will be coming?
I'm not even sure.
He's not joking. He's got a bus.
You got a bus from Frederick, Maryland, family, 6 brothers, 3 sisters, family all come down?
Yeah, they all pile up on that and just shoot down.
And looking forward to seeing that on Saturday against the Cavaliers. Jordan, good luck.
Thank you.
And if you'd like to learn more about tickets for kids, please do reach out. Jordan Addison. And when we come back, we'll be joined by Pat Bostic. You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
When you're ready to buy a home, start your search at howardhanna.com. You'll be the first to see new listings, find similar properties, and connect with a local Howard Hanna agent. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Stick together, attitude and effort all day long, okay? And we go Pitt tough.
When you're ready to buy a home, start your search at howardhanna.com. You'll be the first to see new listings, find similar properties, and connect with a local Howard Hanna agent. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Each and every week on the Pat Narduzzi Show, we welcome former Pitt quarterback and Associate Athletic Director of Major Gifts, Pat Bostic. Pat, good to see you.
Good to see you, Larry.
There are a lot of good things to see on defense in particular. How did you assess at the end of the day the win over Carolina?
I thought they neutralized the run, which was the biggest thing. I mean, they really didn't pop any. Howard had numerous 20-plus yard runs against teams in the weeks leading up to that game, and his only runs were on scrambles. I mean, the design runs was not a factor. Don't know if that was a lingering effect from getting hit the week before against Wake and whether or not they didn't want to run him. But obviously you don't fall down on one. That's one big play, and they got him on a little bit of a double move to Downs. He's a really good player. So they made their share of plays, but really that was about as good a defensive performance as you could have against that explosive an offense.
Yeah, Coach, we talked about those short yardage stops on fourth down where, you don't do that against this team very often. So those were some big props for your defense.
Really was. I mean, I don't think there's a defense coordinator in the country that likes fourth downs. It's not fair. They shouldn't be able to do it. But we've had so many people go for it on 4th and 1, and we've been so outstanding at it. I mean, I've never seen a fourth down defense like what we've got.
I think you mentioned to us on the air after the game, you said you asked the players what they want to run on that 4th down and whatever it was where Hal threw the pick at the end of the game. And it's a testament to their belief, right? And not only themselves, but schematically what you guys do, because you've always kept things pretty simple, and they believe and know how to execute. They play fast.
We let them play fast, and I'd always love at the end of a game, because we're all in this thing together. And, Bates is talking on the headphones. Hey, I think maybe this, maybe that. I said, whoa. Ask the kids this is a big play. Ask the kids what they want to do. And they wanted to go get them, and they went and got them. Right. If you say you're going to do it, I know you're going to do it.
It's not that dissimilar than asking a quarterback what are your favorite passes. It's the same thing on defense. It's what you're comfortable running, and especially when you play an offense like Virginia that does so much stuff. If you try to do so much stuff, how do you marry it all up, right? You've got to have your base, what you trust, and that's what's great about this defense.
What can you say, Coach, overall about this class?
It's been an incredible class. I mean, there's a lot of guys that came back for an extra year, with those 12 super seniors. They've been unselfish. We've got as big a football team as we've ever had as far as just numbers. Our locker room is packed. Our team room is packed. We got extra chairs in the back just to get, everybody in there. But they've been unselfish. I mean, you look at some of the guys on the list, like Todd Sibley, who is a team guy. He's not playing a whole lot at running back, but he's never wavered. He's hung in there. He's played really good on special teams. And there's a lot of guys like that. I mean, there's the Kenny Pickett's, and then there's the other guys that have hung in there and just continue to play. I can't say enough great things about them. They're the reason we're doing what we're doing right now, and they'll be the reason that we'll win on Saturday.
It'll be a special weekend, Friday, for the families and the players and their parents, and families will be recognized on the field. All right, well, let's talk about the Virginia Cavaliers, because this means everything to them too. And they come in here 6-4, 4-2 in the ACC, one game behind the Panthers, who are 8-2 overall, 5-1 in the ACC. What you need to know about Virginia, brought to you by PNC Bank. Make today the day. So what's your scouting report, Mr. Bostic?
Gunslinger. They throw the ball a lot. I mean, offensively, they do a lot of stuff. They'll run the ball like unique ways. They'll flip underneath counters. Or they'll bring a sprint counter, sprint draw type stuff. They've got 5 guys with over 25 catches, 2 with over 60 catches. Wicks, number 3, averages 22 yards a catch. They've got big. They've got intermediate size. They've got short and fast. They've got all different kind of targets. And obviously the big question mark, and I'm not sure it's much of a question, is whether Armstrong is going to play. He reminds me of watching Tyler Palko play. I mean, he's a lefty. Obviously, there's that commonality. He's a gunslinger. He's back there with the ball in one hand. Guys work for him. He'll sit back there and pat that thing, run around. They work back to the ball, back to the quarterback. He's dangerous early in a play. He's dangerous late in a play. And they're a much different football team with him back there. And that's just period.
And they have everything to play for, too, because if Virginia wins, then they would have to beat Virginia Tech next week. But if the Panthers win, the Panthers are the Coastal champs. Coach, on defense, since you're a defensive guru, Virginia throws all kind of looks. I can't wait to see how that matches up against your very prolific offense.
Yeah, there's no question. Their defense mixes it up a lot. They're going to be 3 down, 4 down, and a ton of different coverages that Kenny's going to have to read and make good decisions as he's back in the pocket.
Bottom line, Pat, how do you think the Panthers match up against the Virginia Cavaliers?
I think it's another coastal clash, right? I mean, it's two really good quarterbacks, obviously both playing at a high level. I think similar to last Thursday, which defense plays better is going to be, critical. This is a game, both these teams score a lot of points, but both of them are in the top third of the league in time of possession. And I think that's a critical stat in a game like this, is who's able to run the football. Obviously, if you get a lead, who's able to control the clock. And in the games that Pitt's won convincingly this year, that second half time possession's been tilted big time. And I think that's how you win championships in the month of November. You've got to be able to possess the ball and maximize possessions. And I think that's a hidden stat probably in this game.
All right, thanks, Pat. And we'll have some final thoughts with Coach. You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
Experience the power of e-bikes from Pro Bike and Run. Pittsburgh's hills are no match for e-bike power. Go farther, go faster. Pro Bike and Run has the largest selection of bikes in Pittsburgh. We have the bikes. Stop by a store near you.
Opportunity for the Pitt Panthers as the Virginia Cavaliers come to Heinz Field Saturday, 3:30 kick. And PGT Trucking is asking you to stuff the truck, bring canned foods and donations to the game. And the first 50 get a chance to get a pair of tickets to see what should be a great showdown between these two ACC rivals. Coach, some final thoughts going into this week. There is a lot at stake. You told us your job is to win. How do you manage everything? Because there is some real tangible added layers of emotion.
Yeah, just, as I've told our kids, it's focusing on the process. It's not about the rewards afterwards. It's about the process and playing one play at a time. I mean, for our kids on offense and defense, they're going to play for 7 minutes in a game. It's 6 seconds a play, and we just need to have complete focus for that. Don't worry about what's beyond. I just want our guys locked into our football game, and it's the process that we have to go through. And if our guys get lost in the process, that's when you have issues.
And you know their coach, Bronco Mendenhall, very well in his 6th season, so your times have almost mirrored each other in the ACC.
Yeah, we've missed them last year. We didn't get a chance to play them, so it's been a long time. So we didn't play them in a COVID year, but we happened to open up with them after our Coastal Division Championship the last time. We happened to open up. They were the preseason favorite. We opened them up in the opener of 2019, I guess, was the last time we played them. It was kind of an odd opener. We weren't totally ready. New offensive coordinator. It was kind of disappointing that the ACC put a, defending Coastal champion against the preseason favorite in the first game of the season. Usually we try to save that till the end of the year, you would think. But we're looking forward to this matchup on Saturday for sure.
It's a step in the direction that you wanted to take since the beginning of the season, an opportunity to first win the Coastal. Good luck against the Cavaliers.
Thanks, Larry. Hail to Pitt.
Head coach Pat Narduzzi, and we thank you and our executive producer PJ Kamanchik, Amanda Soleil producing here at the Pete, Cale Berger back at Master Control, plus his game day contribution. Special thanks to Pitt's Paul Bartow and Executive Associate Athletic Director of Media Relations E.J. Borghetti, who makes our job easy by giving us the info we need. Pitt Beyond the Script, Saturday, AT&T Sportsnet at 10:30, plus the Pat Narduzzi radio show on Friday afternoon at 4:30 and Saturday morning at 10. 1:30 pregame Saturday. You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.